What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Philly Frenzy Podcast. I'm your host, Matt. I'm here with my buddy, Rob. What is going on, Rob?
Not much, man. Wild weekend from that UFC card. Uh, Obviously, we got to see a lot of finishes, which is always nice in my book. Um, I was watching some of the undercard on that fight as well, and I thought there were some really good fights, even fights that were on the early prelims were good. Um, Real quick before we get into the title fights. I think we're both wishing Chris Weidman a speedy recovery with
Yes.
this gruesome injury to his leg um, in his fight against Uriah Hall. If you didn't see, he snapped his shin bone and apparently didn't realize he did it on the kick because then he also tried to plant down on it, which just made matters even worse, I'm sure. So that was honestly, I wouldn't even suggest going to watch it. It's pretty gruesome. So Um, but hope he gets well soon. Love to see him back. Good fighter. So how about it, Matt? Me and you, 3 for 3 with
Big
our
three for
call host.
three.
None of these shocked me. I don't think. Kamaru Usman in the main event against Masvidal, showing once again how dominant he is. He's now 14-0 in the UFC. That's to me, he's starting to approach being one of the best mixed martial artists of all time, one of the best, if not the best, welterweight of all time. He's closing in on George St. Pierre with that, the way he's running through people. Talks are next fight will be another rematch with him and Colby Covington. Hopefully, be a pretty good fight. But uh, I was not shocked with Thug Rose taking a title belt back. Uh, Girls always had knockout power, so
That leg kick was
you know,
vicious.
I, oh, you ain't kidding, man. I honestly, it caught her so off guard, Zhang Um, and it was a flush kick straight to the jaw. Her lights were immediately out. Um, this is that's the level that Rose can fight at. She just has to stay consistent now, in her training, and I think she could hold the belt for a little bit, but that is a competitive women's division, so we shall see. Who knows? I won't be surprised if the next fight is a run back of this fight, being that it was such a quick knockout. Um, and also that's only Weili's second loss as a pro. So, and then in the first title fight, we had Shevchenko, Andrada. Like I said going into that, I just think Valentina Shevchenko is an absolute beast. I know Andrada was a previous title holder at a different weight, but weight right now, Shevchenko is looking pretty unbeatable. Um, I know a fight I would like to see happen would be her and Nunez,
That'd be a
and
very interesting fight.
I think they can make it happen. And I think that would be a ridiculously good fight.
Now, let me just get your input on something I saw on, I want to say Sunday morning. It might have been Saturday night right after the fight. Um, the biggest fight money-wise ever would have to be if McGregor actually put on the weight and fought Usman, right? McGregor subtweeted and said something about coming up to 170 and fighting Usman. So would that be something?
He would get hurt bad.
Would that be something that would get the fans going?
I don't even think the fight. Honestly, I don't like Conor at 170. I think it's too big for him. I think we kind of saw that when he fought Nate.
Yeah.
I just think 170 is a little too big for Conor. And this is no knock against Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is a great fighter. He is not Kamaru Usman. I think Usman would mow McGregor down in like no more than 2 rounds. I just think he's too big and strong for McGregor to move up that far. Maybe if they could find some kind of catch weight, but I got to see McGregor get back into form before I can say that, he should be challenging a guy like this.
I don't think he has a shot at even winning a round against. Yeah, he does have the Poirier fight coming up.
Yeah, and I'm saying the first fight, or their second meeting, this last fight that they had, I mean, that's the weight that Conor wants to be at, and he couldn't even get a win there. So I definitely don't think he's ready to jump to 170 and fight possibly the best 170 pounder of all time. I mean, it's only between 2 guys now at this point for the 170 all time, and it's him and GSP, and he's closing on GSP.
My biggest thing is, could you see it happening because of the money grab?
Maybe.
Or do you think it wouldn't be that big?
For whatever reason, man, people just don't like Kamaru Usman. I don't get it. I mean, it would definitely draw money, but I don't know if it would draw anything close to some of the bigger gates of all time. Potentially an interesting fight. It's more dependent on what level of Conor McGregor are we going to get moving forward. I personally would much rather see Kamaru Usman move up to 185 and Israel Adesanya come back down from 205 to 185 and see that super fight.
You got me sold already. I don't need to hear anything else. That's what I want.
That's one of my dream fights with the guys that are out there right now. And that's something I could maybe see happening. But Usman has been pretty steadfast at staying at 170. He wants to defend the 170 belt as many times as he can and go down as the best guy at the weight class ever. That's his main goal is to take over that spot from George St. Pierre in his mind.
These last 3 fights, I've noticed that Usman's getting better.
Yes.
Like, we're talking about a dude going into the past 3 fights. He was 11-0 before this 3-fight stretch that I've watched very closely with Usman. And he just looks like he's getting better each and every fight. This is something that I haven't really seen from a champion, where he's 11-0, wins, he's 12-0, he comes back, he adds something to his game, he's 13-0, and then everyone, and even including Masvidal, everyone was saying he's a guy who wants to wrestle. He's not going to stand up. He can if he has to, but he's looking to get you on the ground grappling, and then he goes and pretty much squares with Masvidal all fight and knocks Masvidal out.
This was a statement. I think it was a statement victory because everybody's expectation of Usman at this point is whatever my opponent does well, I will force them to do the opposite. Well, Jorge Masvidal's main game is his striking. So going into the fight, just like Masvidal said after the fight, he expected Usman to be going to constantly try and take the fight to the ground, and that was not the case. And he actually said that's what allowed him to get caught with that punch, was he thought Usman was going for a shoot-in, for a takedown. And by the time he realized that it wasn't, it was too late, and his lights were turned out. So it shows the champ's versatility. I mean, he can do it all. He dominated control of the octagon. He did score a couple takedowns. So, and obviously landed that brutal shot that put Masvidal out. But yeah, it's really time for the casual fan to put a little more respect on Kamaru Usman's name. The dude's a monster. And if he's not the number one pound for pound in the world right now, he's at least got an argument for the spot.
Yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on the post-fight comments by Masvidal. I wasn't really ever a big Masvidal fan, and when you get your ass beat and you can stand in the middle of the ring and have respect for the guy, because it seems like now all of a sudden these guys don't have respect for each other. A lot of these guys don't. When you see that, I mean, I start gravitating towards him. I like that Masvidal didn't just go up there and, he was a better man, he beat me. It was like, I respect his game, what he done, to get me off of my game. Definitely a lot of respect for a guy that could stand up there and, show respect. But
yeah, I mean, Masvidal got humbled. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But that's not normally his type of game. But he got lit up, he got humbled, and finally stopped running his mouth. I mean, that was all there was to it.
You got anything else on UFC?
Nothing really else about that particular card. We'll touch on, there's a UFC fight night on May 1st. The main event of that is a Dominic Reyes fight, so we can see if Reyes can bounce back in the light heavyweight division here. He's actually the underdog for this fight, so other than that, the 262 is scheduled for the 15th of May. That's going to be highlighted by the Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler fight for the vacant title at lightweight. It also is co-mained by Nate Diaz's return to the octagon versus the very dangerous Leon Edwards. So, and also Tony Ferguson happens to be on this card. People forget how good that guy was before he got messed up. But yeah, so 262's looking like a good card. We'll cover that, Friday before, like always. But other than that, all done with the UFC here.
All right. I want to drop a schedule for you guys, but I don't because I don't know the exact day yet. Either tomorrow or Thursday, I want to say we're going to have a baseball show. I will make a post as soon as I know on Twitter at mhathaway23. You could also follow Rob at Rob Danka. I will try to put something out early tomorrow morning as soon as I know exactly what's going on. I'm kind of transitioning into a different job right now, so scheduling's a little different. There may be a schedule change on our shows. I will make a post as well on Twitter if anything does change. I believe that's it. I think that's everything I had to cover. So with that, we're just gonna shut it down. Philly Frenzy out.